We're just going to take a walk around an English country garden. Believe it or not, this is June the 20th, 2021, and nothing has been normal this year, because normally you'd expect it to be bright sunshine in England at this moment in time. Going past the Acorns Mollis, which after the rain is actually quite stunning. You can see all the little droplets of water on the leaves. Acorns Mollis, or Lady's Mantle. And then on the left hand side here we've got the little hardy geranium, which the bees absolutely love. And here we've got 3 hostas stuck in the old copper hot water cylinder, which stops the snails and slugs getting at them. This is a very clever plant, like all plants are. If you see, when the water catches on the leaves, it gets drawn down into that little black hole you can see there, where that big blob of water is going, and then it waters the plant. Very clever. And we've got the oxeye daisies and the rose in the background, more oxeye daisies, and that's where the gardener last gardened. As you can see, I go for a more wild approach to gardening, but it's better for the wildlife. And this is the rose, which is on top of and flows over the old rusty corrugated iron roof. And we've got a bit of a jasmine here, which disguises and shadows the greenhouse from the bright sun. Don't look in the greenhouse, because unlike when we were in lockdown, it's a bit of a mess. Here in amongst the weeds are the foxgloves or digitalis, which are used to thin people's blood, save them having heart attacks. It's a pretty clematis with lots of buds on it, clambering through the ivy, bindweed, etc., etc. They probably actually all enjoy climbing on top of each other. This is the wild flower garden, which has been a bit battered by the rain now, which I planted last year, and it's come back again this year of its own accord. To many people it looks a mess, but it does attract the birds, and I'll incorporate a few more photographs to show it when it was in different parts of its glory. Not many bees out today, a bit too wet for them, I think, even for them, so maybe they have a little rest. This is the flower and seed head from the plantain, which is quite spectacular. It's not the best place to photograph a foxglove because you're getting rather a lot of white background, but you can see those are the little the bees go in and out right up to the top there. And if you look at the bottom here, you can see all those low down there were flowers, and gradually as the flowers die off they drop off and they gradually go up and away. This is the Malvern Hills Rose, and the clock chimes 11 o'clock. I'm not sure, I call them ox-eye daisies. There's the foxglove there by the bird table, and then this is the sambucus, which is basically an elder flower, very vigorous growing, but very, very beautiful. And then that goes on up into the rowan tree or mountain ash, which is a tree which carries on giving throughout the year with the flowers in the spring and the new leaves, and then the bright orange berries which the birds love in the autumn. And we've got a bed of the daisies now which look quite stunning, and they are for free. So gardening doesn't need to be expensive. You can easily start a wildflower garden from about £1, and the worse your soil is, the better it would be for the wildflowers. Then we're going across there and up a little bit, and then we can see the yellow water flag irises. Those are. Now just watch how the bee sits on the bottom of the flower and it opens up and the bee goes in. Clever little lupin, clever little bee. He's buzzed off. In an English country garden, in an English country garden, hey. This is another rescue rhododendron or azalea, I'm never quite sure which, but it's a lovely, lovely colour. This was rejected because it was covered in moss or lichen, but now it's in a more open position. It is spectacular and has been spectacular for many years, and hopefully will be spectacular for many years to come. This is the plantain seed head in all its glory. For a long time this rose was just sitting in the ground, not doing a lot apart from putting on lots of growth but no flower. But now it's been tied into the framework up the side of the garden building. It's flourishing. Everything's gone now a bit mad. We've got the blue geranium, hardy geranium at the front, and the hypericum with these wonderful clusters of flowers and little droplets of water on there which look quite stunning. And then the Paul Scarlet Rose, that's what I was always told it was called. And then we've got 3 espaliered or espalier apple trees along the trellis work there. And then we go on through the bed, and there's the tall foxgloves there, and behind that is that sort of prickly looking bush, I say bush, prickly looking thing, which is an acanthus. She's got quite prickly looking leaves but makes some magnificent flowers usually, which look a bit like artichokes. And at the back there is a lilac with the rose behind. And the doorway into the secret garden. Maybe one day. the rose and the door into the secret garden. Well, we look forward to that day. And then there's the astilbe at the front there. Lilac, which is now flowered at the back. And that's the acanthus, which ends up looking like an artichoke, sort of purpley flower. But sometimes they don't flower. This one has always flowered, but the one in our back garden hasn't flowered very well. Maybe it's just because it's in the wrong position, so if it doesn't flower where it is, move it. All good gardeners spend most of their life moving plants around. They're better positions. So don't be afraid to move your plants if they don't flower. Move them from one position to another. Some like shade, some like light. They all like water, air and sunshine, as we do, most of us. This is a peony, and that's the peony leaf, and then behind it is the yellow loosestrife, which comes back every year. That's about 60 centimetres or so, maybe 80 centimetres high. Then we've got the foxglove with all the little flower pods or cells that the little bees like going in and out of. It's a bit wet for the bees today, so they're obviously not happy to come out. I'm sure they'll come out later when it dries up a bit. And you can see all these are the old remains of the old flower heads. So there's all those have come before, so it keeps on producing flowers, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on right up to the top there, and then it stops. In an English country garden, please subscribe to JJ Goes Forth. It costs you nothing, and hopefully we can help some different people, including some very poorly children who need your help. This is the foxglove, or digitalis as it's sometimes known, which is a lovely place for the bees to feed, but at the moment they're in hiding. It's probably even too hot for the bees.